a bit flexible. So here's what I've got. I've got a pair of mass cylinders, 3/4 inch those two are. 3 reservoirs for 3 master cylinders, even though there's 2, there's one already fitted. It is upside down, but it's on the pedal box. I've got a Walbro 255 lift pump for the fuel tanks. That's still not finished. And a steel cable snake jobby for the bias bar that I need to turn around because it's currently facing the clutch pedal, because normally these pedals are the other way around. It's supposed to come out of here, but I need to move the pedal box over anyway. I've got a small gap, but I don't know if you can see the clutch is just in line with the chassis tube, which means it won't go through, so I'm going to have to move it over, but I've got all of about 4mm to play with, so we'll see how that goes. Pedal box is tacked to the chassis at the minute. It's a bit flexible, it's not really attached anyway, but I want it to be bolted in case I ever want to change it. But I need to make a mount that bolts to the chassis and then bolts to the pedal box. We need to do that without getting in the way of the steering column at the same time. So the first job will be making that bracket, which means pulling the pedal box off, marking up and measuring along here, putting in a nice level bar, checking it doesn't get in the way of the steering column. And in order to make sure it doesn't get in the way of the steering column during its operation, I need to mount the steering column back on. And to make sure that's in the right place, I need to put a seat in. So to mount my pedal box, I need to put a seat in. Jerry rigged the steering in with a ratchet strap and just wrapped it around the car just to hold it up. It's pushed it about an inch or so closer to the seat, so I assume the new steering rack has pushed the column this way a bit, so I've got that to modify, and I think I'll shorten the shaft that goes to the column more than anything. Thrown a seat in on some fine timber just to adjust it, but it's up against the cage back there. Oh, can we see? Here we go. Up against the cage back there and up against the tunnel back there. And the height's quite sensitive, because if I'm too low, if these wood blocks aren't there, my eye line is sort of here. She's not high enough, so I look like I require a cushion. But too high, and my head will hit the cage with a helmet on. So the seat's going to have to be about there. But in the meantime, while I ponder a way to make the bracket for the pedal box and get my head stuck in the steering column, I'm going to mount the 3 reservoirs. And I'm walking around with an extension lead with my phone plugged in because it's about dead. Reservoir pots are going to go about here. I've already cut a bit of cardboard that fits a treat in that area, marked out my no zone, and I'm going to transfer that into something a bit more solid and then roughly mark out where to drill the holes and mount some reservoir pots. gone from this to this. Got a couple of mounting holes already. Chuck them on there, and then I'll mount the cylinders and I'll trim it down because I don't need all of that meat. But I'll get it mounted up, chuck the cylinders, see what it looks like, and then go from there. So far so good. Mounted up nicely. I made the brake cylinder reservoirs oppose each other and the clutch cylinder face that way. I've got plenty more meat I can cut off. The line I've already marked, which is a bonus. What I have noticed though is the plate sits, there's a slight downward angle that, well, that'll come across. So I'm going to take the plate off, put a small bend up, bring the angle right, and then trim some more meat off and we'll go again. Always make sure your camera's on a flat and level surface.